Hey guys, this is Stoney and you're watching Stoney's Tech Talk. Today I'm going to be videoing me downgrading my console from 4.0 to 3.55 custom firmware. Then I'll be QA flagging my console to downgrade further to 3.41. Then I'll upgrade to my choice of custom firmware. For this tutorial you're going to need a few files and a few devices. First and foremost, you will need your PS3 and your E3 flasher, of course. Next will be your choice of downgrade dongle, USB flash stick, and a micro SD for the E3. The files you will need are the downgrade files for the E3 and USB flash, and you'll also need toggleqa.package file from the RebugMe website. You'll also need a copy of the official firmware 3.41 and a copy of your choice of custom firmware to complete this tutorial. Firstly, I'm going to assume that you have watched my first 4 video tutorials and are pretty confident with the whole downgrade process, as I won't be going into much detail until we get to the QA flagging our console. Okay, first of all I'm going to prove to you that I'm on the latest firmware, which is 4.0. I'll just zoom in on there, just a second, bear with me. Okay, 4.0. Alrighty, now to start this tutorial, basically we're going to set the switches 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 down and the 6th one upwards. Just like so. I'm going to back out to the menu. Alrighty, okay, I'm back at the menu. Then we're just going to hit start on the E3 flasher to begin the downgrading process. As you can see, there's a red light there now. You don't see any blues. That'll slowly increment up to the 8 until all 8 are lit. This might take a little while. I'm going to put this in fast forward for you guys anyway. Hey, finally we've got our first light lit. Just to go through this process again with you guys, basically all we're going to be doing is downgrading with the E3 flasher. Once we downgraded, I'll be installing the toggleqa package file. Once that's installed, I'll QA flag the console. Once the console's been QA flagged, I'll be downloading in recovery menu, which I'll show you all the process anyway. Once we've downloaded in the, to the 3.41, I'll then upgrade to 3.55 custom firmware of my choice. It's a fairly simple process. Very slight risk of bricking your console, but if you follow this tutorial correctly, you shouldn't have any dramas at all. Okay, she's finally done. Now we shut down the console, and when we fire it back up, it should come up with please insert your controller via the cable. There we go. Now we'll shut it off from the cable. Now that we've shut the console off, we're going to insert our downgrade dongle into the right USB port and then turn it back on, followed by the eject. And we'll do the 3 beeps, and that will put you into factory service mode. Okay, our console should be in factory service mode. I'm going to remove the dongle and put my USB flash stick in, which I've put the files on, and basically I'm going to turn it on and make sure that you put that flash stick in the right port. I'm got the full process in my first 4 tutorials, but basically this will take a little while. What it's doing is basically installing 3.55 custom firmware. It's definitely going to take a while. You won't get no screen. This will take around 4 minutes to do. Once it's done, once it's shut itself down, basically you have to pull the USB stick out, copy the second step of the downgrade files onto your USB, plug that back in your PS3, and it should pull you out of factory service mode, and you will have your custom firmware on 3.55. and we'll be moving on to the QA flagging. Okay, she's shut itself down. Now basically I've already done it. I've put the second stage of the USB files onto the stick. Now I'm just going to switch it on and it should pull it out of factory service mode. Okay, it shut itself down after that. I'm going to pull out the USB stick. Basically, then I should be right to start the console up again. Now it should come into the 3.55 custom firmware. Spoofed is 3.70. Okay, there we go. Custom firmware 3.55. Just to prove it to you. Spoofed is 3.70. There we go. Now basically what I'm going to do, see there's your install package files, it's definitely a custom firmware. I'm going to move on to the QA flagging part of the tutorial. Okay, I've put the package file on the root of my USB flash stick. Now I'm about to install it. There it is, toggleqa.pkg, which is a package file. Install. Okay, now that Toggle QA has been installed into the PS3, we now have to run the program so it can QA the console. And once that's done, it should beep 3 times, just like so. Okay, to prove that the console is in fact QA flagged, I'm going to put in the button combo, which is L3, directional D-pad down, L1, L2, R1, R2. And there we go. There's the edit viewer, debug settings, and install package files. To be able to do the downgrade with the QA flag, you need to go to debug settings and go down to where it says system update debug. Select that on. Okay, now we're going to put the console into recovery mode. Just a reminder, when you put the update firmware on the USB stick, make sure you put it the traditional way, which is make a folder named PS3, and within that folder PS3 make another folder called update, then put the downgraded official firmware 3.41 into that folder update. Okay, I'm just going to put it in a recovery mode, push and hold the power button. Doesn't do it the first time, you've got to wait for a double beep. That's 1 beep or 2 beeps. Okay, the console will turn off. Now we do it again. First beep, second beep, double beep. Now we should be in recovery mode. Okay. Now we go to system update. Just checking file system, make sure there's an update file on there. And basically I've put the 3.41 firmware in there. It did say to put 3.55 or higher, but it still will work because the console is now being QA flagged. Okay, still waiting. Shouldn't be too much longer now. There we go. Performing a downgrade within recovery menu after we've done a QA flag. This should take no more than 5 minutes, if that. Once that's done, we'll be in official firmware 3.41. Not too much longer now. Turn it back on. Let's see how we go. Should be in 3.41. Well, there we go. Rod Euro is now gone. Just to prove that's 3.41. Go to system settings. Just to cover that up. And there it is, 3.41. Which I will prove to you. Zoom it in. As you can see, 3.41. Alright, back out of that. Now I'm going to update the console to my choice of custom firmware. Okay, now for the final stage of the tutorial. I'm going to go to update via storage media. And there's a 3.55 PS3 update.pup file. Select that. This will now update to my choice of custom firmware, which is 3.55. Okay, now that that's finished, I'll just show you that I'm on custom firmware 3.55. Okay, as you can see, there's installed packages or package files, and it is actually on 3.5. System settings. I'll just cover up these things. Okay, 3.55. We'll zoom it in for you. Guts. Don't know if you can see there. Alrighty. That concludes this video tutorial. Please rate, comment and subscribe.